Toodle doo, merry band of bitches. It's your boy, Dr. Goon. God bless everyone tuning in. And it's just one of those things where even if I wanted to make other content, I couldn't get past not finishing this story of Sinestro. It's one of my favorite runs ever. If you have not seen part one, I will link it in the video description. Eventually, you'll see both parts combined and dropped as a full comprehensive movie so you can watch in one sitting. But I love this story, and we're getting this out the way so I can move on to things like the new Thor, new Hulk, and catching up on all the new comic happenings. But if you guys are a fan of my content, real quick, smash the like button. Let's get it to 300 plus likes. That'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you for your love and support. I hope you guys are prepared for the madness that we're about to undergo with this conclusion to the story. We're getting through a bunch of real shit. You're not going to be able to sit down, stand the fuck up. It's lit. But without further ado, again, if you need context for what happens to Prior, go check out part one. But let's get right into this story. I don't want to delay any further. Let's begin. So, we kind of cut to Sinestro dealing with Mongol. Now, people have different takes and interpretations on Mongol. Some people like him, some don't. I fucking love Mongol. He is a universal shit starter. He really just shows up to fuck around and do hood rat shit with his friends, right? He's trying to rob Sinestro, and Sinestro's not having it, so he pulls up on Warworld, and he's like, let's see what's good with this big bitch, right? Like, let's see what Mongol's really got up his sleeve. He proceeds to start putting hands on Mongol. Does not really have an issue putting hands on Mongol either. However, during this exchange, he's realizing, okay, Mongol is indeed siphoning the power of Yellow Lantern Rings. Like, I'm not quite sure how he's doing it, and even if I wanted to destroy him right now, it probably wouldn't be to my economic benefit, because I need to know how the fuck he's playing these cards. I need to know what exactly he's up to, and now he's getting his point across. And it's even brought up during this wild exchange, during this back and forth between Sinestro and Mongol, that at any point, if Sinestro wanted to, he could just say fuck it and nuke the battlefield. Like, he could just get the drop on him and proceed from there. But again, this is him more so observing someone he knows, even though he hates him. And he makes it very fucking clear. Sinestro's like, this dude's a bitch. He's a yellow belly bitch. I do not fuck with him at all. This is one of the people I hate the most in the universe, because Mongol just goes around starting shit and robbing shit. Okay, he's a dick. All right, everyone can pretty much agree Mongol's an asshole. Like, get in the comment section down below if you agree Mongol's a jerk. But he's trying to figure this out, and as much as he'd like to just smite him and take him off the census, he's got to figure out what's really good. And it's even at that point confirmed, like in this battle, while he's draining Sinestro and whatnot, Mongol can't really fuck with Sinestro in a real 1v1. Even though he's talking shit, even though he's going through these methods to take away the power of Sinestro, he admits during this exchange, like, yo, I really can't fuck with him in the 1v1. And Sinestro is getting drained, and he wants to get to the root of what's going on. So what's he do? He yields. He makes a summoning that we'll see later, but he also yields. He's like, fuck it, Mongol, take me in. I'm not scared of your bitch ass anyway. So Mongol gets taken in, or Sinestro does rather, and he's being tested, observed, and chained, you know. But at this point, if you guys haven't realized, Sinestro's fucking locked in. He's always got a plan for everything. And Mongol's explaining to his subordinates that, you know, the Yellow Lantern Ring and what it signifies is dope, but Sinestro's power goes far beyond just a Yellow Lantern Ring. It is something we can't really quantify, and it's something we desperately want. And this is also a point in which Mongol kind of confirms, like, hey, I actually want a slice of the pie. The big pie being Parallax. He's like, Sinestro, I'm going to force Parallax to come out. I'm going to force you to use it. And then at that point, I'm going to take Parallax and I'm going to go ball in the club. Not a bad idea. Parallax is strong as a bitch. That's when we see the summonings take place. Who did Sinestro call out to that is worth the summoning to Warworld? Well, he summoned a new god, Becca. If you didn't check out part one, there's a new god general, Becca. Absolute badass. She is a beast. And Sinestro toyed with her a lot. He was messing with her mind. He was letting her know, like, hey, if you decided to wear the yellow stripes, you wouldn't be that fucking bad at what we do. You know, like, you have the natural call to instill great fear. You have the natural ability of a Yellow Lantern legend. And lo and behold, he summons her, and she shows up to scrap. Again, you can see some kind of trepidation with her because she doesn't entirely trust Sinestro, which is fair. Who the fuck does? But she's called here. She's gonna take up arms. And this is where we see Sinestro kind of breaking down fear itself and what it quantifies in the grand scheme of things. While his people are scrapping and putting in work, he says, you know, there's a bunch of emotions, there's a bunch of deities older than time itself spread throughout creation. But people lose sight of the bigger picture. Perhaps the oldest and the greatest of them all is fear itself, which is a theme that will be visited throughout this run. That is very important because a lot of times people they kind of underestimate the value of fear and what it actually means. And as his people are getting the drop on Warworld and Sinestro escapes, he tells Mongol, he tells his boys too, he's like, hey, real shit, I could have fucked you up at any point. And even Sinestro's guys are like, damn, Sinestro wanted to, he could have just wrecked this place. But Sinestro gets the drop on one of Mongol's boys, and he's like, hey, look, I do have mercy. I'm not going to kill your bitch ass. But what you're going to do is you're going to take me to your leader, and I'm going to teach him a thing or two about a thing or two. I'm going to teach him not to fuck with big Sinestro. That's when we see Sinestro gets the drop on the power source that is draining him, right? And he pulls up on Mongol. He's like, hey, bitch, figured out your plan, pussy. Beats the shit out of Mongol. It's like, you can't fuck with me, Mongol. I understand you're using all this prep time, all these plans to try to take me down. It didn't count for shit, okay? It didn't matter. You missed the king. You took your shot and you missed. And he wraps him up in old lantern rings. So encases him and he says, you wanted the yellow power, right, bitch? You wanted this shit. I'll give you what you want. Wraps him up in this and sends him out into the universe. He's like, go float through infinite space, you pussy. Like, I don't want to see you ever again. I told you guys, he hates Mongol. And he let it be known he's trying to do him dirty in this moment. Sends his bitch ass off. And for now, that's what we see from Mongol. We then see he had downloaded the history of Becca. And he did this through Lissa. Lissa being a character who basically has history written on her, including all the greatest nightmares and fears possible. She knows about Sinestro and all that. And Sinestro uses her and his own abilities to kind of get knowledge of everybody. Understand everyone. And Becca didn't like this at first. She's like, hey, you shouldn't be downloading my history. You shouldn't be looking at who I am as a person. Like, that's fucked up. And Sinestro said, hey, history is only grand and great if we remember to keep it sacred and to recall what it was. He said, I will forever be able to tell the great story of Becca, the new god. And now we will tell the story of Becca, the Yellow Lantern. Like, you have an epic story. Do not feel bad that I know it. I even know Lissa's story, and no one knows what this crazy bitch does. So he's like, even I know that shit. So, like, don't feel bad. I'm not using it to, like, shit on you or anything like that. I use it because knowledge is important and the past is meant to be remembered. That's when we see one of my favorite crossovers ever. I'm sorry, it is dope as hell that Sinestro and Black Adam are boys. And he pulls up on Black Adam, lets him know, hey, there's these pale bitches going around, anti-emotion thieves. They are trying to ruin the universe and reduce it to nothingness. Obviously, Black Adam might not be the nicest guy you'll ever meet, right? But he also doesn't want creation to go to shit. He has to live there. He has his own people, too. He's kind of like Dr. Doom. And he agrees to go on this kind of religious pilgrimage to get more information and to learn more. And he says, you know, Sinestro, we can't go about this as gods. We're not just going to fly there. We need to kind of go about this in a humble manner, which is really fucking cool to see because, again, it hints to the respect that Black Adam has for Sinestro as a Yellow Lantern and as a soldier in general. He refers to him as a fellow god, which in my opinion was really dope to see. That is when Black Adam gets into it with the Paling. And Sinestro is observing this. And that's his boy, right? Like, he's like, hey, real shit, I already don't fuck with the Paling. But Black Adam's my guy. And they're trying to jump the boy. And he eventually, seeing Black Adam really struggle with the Paling, which just shows how stupidly strong they are. If Black Adam's will and conviction is being torn apart by these beings, you're dealing with some heavy hitters. And he's starting to fall to it, and they're going to get him to revert to saying Shazam. And Sinestro slaps a yellow hand over his mouth, and he's like, hey, you don't fucking bend here. You don't bend to these bitches. I don't care if I have to make you one of my yellow lanterns. Black Adam, you will not fall today. Your end is not meant to be here. Get up. We're going to fuck these people up. And that's when we see Black Adam gets a yellow lantern ring. And even at that point, he's massively amped. It just shows how strong the yellow lantern ring. Even someone like Black Adam can be amped by a yellow lantern ring, despite his already insane power. And that's when we see mistakes have been made. The Paling have found Earth. And that, dude, this next sequence is so fucking crazy. Because we see it like had cut to Wonder Woman, and she's like, oh shit, the monster has found us. And we see another explanation of fear, with fear being possibly the oldest deity to ever exist. Everything creation did was a reaction to fear, whether being brave, being smart, reacting to something, building something. You did it to a certain degree out of fear. Maybe you fear survival. Maybe you fear the unknown. Regardless of what it was, fear is the strongest being, the strongest deity. And at this point in time, it is being attacked by the concept of nothingness. Nothingness is here. This anti-religious pilgrimage is upon them, and they have to step the fuck up. Now, I'm gonna warn you guys right now. I know I've been cussing. I'm probably going to cuss more right here. This is one of my favorite fucking moments in comic books, okay? Stand the fuck up if you haven't already. Smash the like button. This moment, this point in time is historical, okay? Top tier goon shit. So Earth is being invaded. Paling have found Earth. They have made their way to Earth. And this is so fucking funny. Sinestro is observing this, and he's like, oh, fuck. Like, it appears in my journey to fuck these boys up, I accidentally gave them the GPS coordinates to Earth. And he's like, this is a mistake worthy of someone like Hal Jordan. He's in the clutch. He's in the moment of where if he fucks up, creation falls, right? And he makes a Hal Jordan joke. He's like, oh my god, only Hal Jordan could fuck up like this. And I'm sorry, that's just amazing. That just shows how fucking funny Sinestro is. In that moment, first thing he thinks of is like, damn, I really fucked up bad. You might as well call me Hal Jordan at this point. Hal Jordan fans, I'm sorry. Smash the like button, you bitches. You got owned right here by Sinestro. So the heroes are fighting back, and I think I'm gonna title this Sinestro Surpasses Superman. I do want to preface, I actually talked to GB about this. There are moments in time in New 52 when Superman is absolute dog shit. This very well may be one of those moments, but regardless, characters like Black Adam, Wonder Woman are there. Sinestro's above them and needs to save them, right? He's juicing them out. And they're fighting. Keep in mind, no one really likes Sinestro on Earth. They don't respect him. They don't respect his cause. He has done some villain shit. We talked about that in part 1, so we understand to a degree. But this is such a beautiful fucking moment. As the heroes of Earth are rallying to fight the Paling, they are failing terribly. They are struggling to stop the Paling. Even villains are getting involved because they're like, what the fuck? This is my block too. I'm not trying to die here. I need an Earth to be evil on. So they're getting active too. And it's just not helping. And there's this one little girl. She's terrified. And her mom is like, please don't look. Like, her mom is aware this is crazy apocalypse type event. And the little girl says, don't worry. The heroes are here. And we see my boy Artillo in the Oh my god, I'm so hyped. We see Arkillo in the trenches. If you guys didn't see part 1, go see it right now. Arkillo's come up is crazy. He was basically leaving the Yellow Lanterns while Sinestro was in self-imposed hiding. We kind of see him get bitched by Sinestro, and then Arkillo just has a crazy come up. He's like, hey, fuck it. I ride for my boys, right? He rides for Sinestro no matter what. And Arkillo, someone who's been hated, someone who's called a monster. All the Yellow Lanterns who are called absolute war criminals, absolute monsters. Right now, the people of Earth see them for what they are. They are heroes, and they have come here to save even the other heroes. Sinestro pulls up, he says, hey, Earth, today is not your day. It's time we get active. It's time you weaponize what you need against the paling, and that is fear. We need more fear. And he sends out Yellow Lantern rings to everybody. Superman gets one. He says, Superman, you have the ability to instill great fear in others. He sends it to Harley Quinn. He sends it to Deathstroke. He sends it to Scarecrow. Perfect, by the way, fucking perfect. Like, if you're going to give anyone a fear amp, it's probably Scarecrow. That bitch is always trying to give the yerks to other people so they trip off fear. It's just an amazing moment of people loading up on Yellow Lantern rings. Sinestro's powering everybody. He says, hey, regardless if you love me or hate me, we're not going down today. Earth, stand with the Yellow Lanterns. This is when we see, again, more expression of the power of the Yellow Lantern ring. Fear is beyond the duality of good and evil. That's expressed. And I think that's important to note. And it's something we got to talk about because Sinestro has overpowered fear itself. In fact, he fought the entity, the living representation of what fear is. Parallax made it his bitch multiple times in this run. Sinestro is one of the GOATs. I don't care about everyone's opinion on other stories with Sinestro. If you're asking me what is the quintessential story with Sinestro, it's this one, and you're really seeing why. Sinestro then even I hate this character, actually. He even gets someone who's like the GOAT of their Lantern Corps, which is the Blue Lanterns. The Blue Lanterns stand for the power of bitches, right? But the real power is hope. They don't really actually get active. They usually get beat up, but they just try to give hope to other people. And St. Walker is like the embodiment of hope for them, right? He's a fake fucking Superman. And St. Walker even gets powered by Sinestro. Sinestro's like, hey, it ain't the time to be a bitch, Saint. I need you in the trenches. I need you getting active. And it's just another case of his empowerment being absolutely crazy. And all this chaos has built up. As the paling are being fought off by the new Yellow Lanterns and the old Yellow Lanterns, Sinestro pulls up on the Pale Bishop, the leader of the paling in one of the coolest fucking final boss fights ever. So, Sinestro pulls up on Pale Bishop. He's like, hey, pussy, you pulled up on Earth. You pulled up on my universe. Let's get active. Starts swinging on him. They proceed to get into a mind battle, right? He's absolutely assaulted telepathically by the likes of the Pale Bishop, who's going all out to wipe away this blip on his radar. Wipe away this speed bump in the road for him, right? He absolutely puts Sinestro through the mental ringer as he makes him see everything he fears. And Sinestro says in that moment, yeah, like, I'm fucking frightened. If I've failed my people before. I've let my people down before. My people have died because of mistakes I've made. I'm not the man I want to be. I've made mistakes as a man that I'm not proud of. But in that moment, we also realize these are all aspects of Sinestro he's confronted himself. He has talked about to himself. He's figured out what he fears the most and he has embraced it. That's why he is who he is. And this is when we see the mental battle, the tide starts to turn. As he observes the Pale Bishop for who he is. He was a part of one of the biggest jobber corps ever, the Guardians of the Universe. And even though he represents nothingness right now, that nothingness derives from him taking action to reach such heights of power. What caused him to reach for nothingness? Fear. He was frightened of something. And the Pale Bishop tries to talk shit, right? It is one of the coolest fucking moments ever. Sinestro was like, oh, pussy, are you talking shit right now? Was that a stutter I heard? You should have known better than to take me into my own fears. You should have known better than to strike at the core of the fear within Sinestro. And you know what they say, you bitch. When you stare into the abyss, it will stare back. And he swings on the Pale Bishop. He completely takes away the swag of the Pale Bishop. The Pale Bishop's like, oh fuck, I'm dealing with the real one. And we see another cool moment of just how strong Sinestro is right here as he's saving creation. He's saving everyone from the finality of nothingness. Love, hope, anger, and compassion. Some of the biggest emotions in DC. Shit, some of the biggest emotions we will ever deal with in our life. All of this are simply shadows of Sinestro's fear. And it kind of highlights the importance of fear, as we've been speaking on. We love people because we don't want to be alone. Why don't we want to be alone? We're afraid to be alone. Hope. We have hope when we have fear. You know, we're fearing the tornado. We hope it goes away. Anger, compassion, all these things. At the root, you can argue they derive from the fear within us. So regardless how you feel about fear, it is as necessary of a building block for anything in creation. And he takes down the bitch-ass Pale Bishop. And even a weakened Sinestro who went through all this, who went through all the bullshit, he sees through deceit. He sees through lies. And everyone around him like, oh my god, we're dealing with the GOAT. Like, regardless of if we love Sinestro, we stand with Sinestro because he's the fucking GOAT. And during that fight, they even said, because people are like, hey, how are the Yellow Lanterns surviving? They said, hey, we're going to keep it a band with you. We would rather die right here than to live and fail and face the wrath of Sinestro. It is better to die fighting for what they need to stand up for than it is to live and face Sinestro knowing they failed him in his mission. We even see at this point, he's got his crew so locked in. He's got his crew so focused that his Yellow Lanterns bullied the Red Lanterns without Sinestro. The Red Lanterns pulled up on them. They said, hey, I know Sinestro ain't here, but you know Sinestro's with us no matter what. Even if he's not here, he still stands with us. We ain't finna get our asses beat knowing we have to go home to Sinestro's wrath. So they put in work on the Red Lanterns too, and you're like, damn, bro, he's really brought the Corps together. He's really defined the Yellow Lantern Corps in a way it's never been defined before. And in one of my favorite endings ever, we stand up and salute for Sinestro, okay? He's the fucking GOAT. We started this story talking about how Sinestro exiled himself for his failures. He failed to save his people. He failed to save the people he cared about and loved. And it nearly broke him. And he had said, within the face of inevitability, oftentimes, faith breaks, right? He's standing there and he said, I fucking did it. He's out on the beach. He said, I did what no one thought was possible. In the face of absolute death and defeat, I saved my people when no one else could. And perhaps one of the hardest lines in hip-hop history. I don't even give a fuck if Sinestro's a rapper, okay? This was straight bars. He said, I have done the impossible and saved my people from their inexorable destruction. Before my faith, even inevitability breaks. And that is how our epic saga ends. Sinestro wins. He saves everybody. He shows everyone he's the fucking GOAT. Love him or hate him, he's gonna do some GOAT shit. And in my opinion, this is one of the greatest runs to ever grace comics. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What did you think of this Sinestro run? What did you think of this movie? I'm going to put these two parts together so you have one cohesive movie. I hope you guys all return to watch it and you all check it out in its totality because it's one of the most fun stories ever. And it's amazing how Sinestro was written in this run. In my opinion, one of the greatest Lantern stories ever told. But anyways, guys, I had a blast doing this. It's your boy, Dr. Goons. Stay tuned for my future comic book reviews and movies, and let me know which comic stories deserve a review like this one. Its own little movie where I break down what happened and why it's amazing. Definitely let me know. But anyways, I'm signing out here. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. You can join my Discord as well. Subscribe to the channel and join Goon Nation. And I will see y'all later. Peace.